are listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. It's great to have another chance to play with you. I was thinking about how, so recently I realized I had just some minor contrast over needing a truck. I just needed a truck. For a variety of reasons. One was, I needed mulch for the gardens. And you can't buy that in bags. You cannot buy, like the last time I got a delivery of mulch, I got an entire truck full, and guess what? I needed that again, and even that wasn't all that I needed. You can't buy that in bags. It's just, I need more than that. And, I also need, the nursery. Hello. I was buying trees and bushes. I needed a truck for that. In fact, I went to the nursery in my car, in my Ford Focus, my ZX3. The seats fold down. It's a hatchback. The seats fold down. The seats have, in my entire time of owning that car, have never been up. I don't drive around with people. I drive around with dogs and cat carriers. So, I went to the nursery in my Focus because I was asking friends. I was like, okay, my dad's got a truck. I asked if I could borrow it. He's like, well, you could, except that it's in the shop. So I waited a while, and then I asked a couple weeks later, how about now? It's like, no, it had to go back to the shop, still leaking oil. And he's like, if you want to borrow it while it's leaking oil. I'm like, no, I don't really want to borrow it while it's leaking oil. I have a friend who has a truck, but his new girlfriend I didn't think was going to be down. All indications are she's not down with him being super friends with me. So I needed a truck, but I didn't have one. I went to the nursery with my little Focus, and oh boy, I had my eye on a tree. And I walked up to the register with it, and an employee saw me coming up. And he's like, hey, do you need help? And I said, yeah. Do you think I could get this in my Focus? And I explained it's a hatchback. The seats are down. It's a big tree, though. He's like, well, I've seen some pretty strange things. We could try. I was like, cool, let's try. And then I said, would you deliver? And said, yeah, but we're like 2 weeks out for my area. 2 weeks out. I was like, well, I know one thing for sure. I'm having this tree, so I need to go buy it regardless. And so while I was headed up, standing in line for the cashier, the employee came up with another employee, and he says, hey, this guy can drive the tree up to you. He could do it tonight. He could drive it up for me tonight. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Not only could he drive it up for me tonight, but I was like, well, dang, if you're going to make a trip up in a truck that means I could go buy some more trees. So I did. I bought some more trees and some more bushes. Okay. But I just wanted a truck. I wanted my own truck. And because I got other friends, they need trucks too. So I was like, if all of us, we should have a truck. We should have a truck. And if I'm going to be the one to buy a truck, then I'll be the one to buy a truck. But I have 2 cars. I've got my 66 Caprice, my 2003 Ford Focus. One person shouldn't have 3 vehicles. I know that. My inner being doesn't agree. I got a friend that says he believes you can never have too many guns or too many cars. I don't know about too many guns, but I sure like that. I'm sure there is such thing as too many cars, but I have a 3-car garage. So anyway, I really was thinking about getting a truck. I couldn't deny the desire to have it. I've had a truck before. In fact, that's the one that my dad has. I moved in with a boyfriend that said one person should not have 3 cars. We had a 3-car garage in that house we bought together, and he didn't think that I should have a car sitting on the other side of the garage. He was like, one person should not. I needed to get rid of one, is what he thought. You know what? I did. Sold my truck to my dad. He loved and appreciates it. In fact, I was driving that truck not too long ago, and someone stopped me and commented on it. Okay. Anyway, I want a truck. Okay, so I'm not having another man tell me I can't have all the cars that I want. So I start looking for a truck. Actually, I got another friend helping me find one. And he finds a truck. Ooh, he finds a truck. And it was all the truck. It was probably more truck than I personally needed. What am I going to use it for? Camping, paddleboarding, shopping at the nursery, hauling some mulch around, things like that. But this is a truck that was made to do all the things that trucks could ever want to do. It was a lot of truck. Way more truck than I ever had before. Oh, and no one who knew me, because I asked everyone. That's kind of my way of how to know. It's not that their opinions matter so much. It's that when they tell me something, I can tell based on how it feels, whether it resonates or not, whether my inner guidance agrees or not. Like when they say, don't let those barn swallows build a nest. And my heart sinks and I know, inner being disagrees. Build a nest, barn swallows, build a nest. And when they say, that is way too much truck for you. You do not need to spend that much. You definitely don't need that much power. You don't need whatever. My inner being did not agree. Here's why I'm talking about this. Because I'm a Libra sun. Here's my little story of Libra suns. We could get a little, sometimes decisions aren't the easiest because we can see all sides. We can see all the sides when we're doing the logical, rational side of things, when we're analyzing, considering we're being reasonable and practical. We could see all the sides. We can argue any position. If you've got any experience with the Libra in your life, you might be familiar with that. Anyway, I could get lost in that routine, but then I remember I never need to make a decision for the rest of my life. Sometimes decisions feel so hard. Sometimes they feel so hard, like we don't want to make the wrong. We could see the pros and the cons of everything. But I remember my conscious creator training reminds me I never need to decide anything because the way is always clear. When I listen to the part of me that knows the best way forward towards what I want, I don't ever have to decide. All I got to do is listen to that guidance within. Whether it's a big decision or a mundane one, I don't have to evaluate the options. I don't have to perform due diligence. I don't have to ask the experts or every person that I know. I don't have to know all the angles or consult the oracle. All I have to do is listen to what feels better. That's all I got to do. No decisions required. Just listen to what feels better. That's how my inner guidance is pointing the way forward for me. And it doesn't matter whether the inner inspiration makes sense or not. It doesn't need to weigh the pros and the cons or make sure everyone else agrees. All it takes is being willing to drop my confusion or my lack of clarity, plug into what I want, and then let my highest joy lead the way. And sometimes, highest joy is just interpreted as whatever feels like relief. That's all we got to do. We never have to decide a thing. Our inner being always knows. All we got to do is listen for that. And the way it speaks to us is what feels better. So I don't have to justify it. I don't have to find the logic of it. I don't have to explain it to myself or others in any way other than, this is what feels best. This is my joy. I have joy for this truck. Oh gosh, I got a cool truck. Oh, that was kind of a fun little manifesting story too. Oh, should I tell it here? Well, I'll tell the just super short version. It's cool manifestations. I could go on forever. Everything that unfolds feels like magic. The point of this episode is to just remind that knowing that our inner guidance always knows, that eliminates the need for us to second guess or to grapple with making a decision. There's no remorse. When we remember to tap that inner knowing. Especially when we remember that it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't even matter what we pick. It only matters how we feel. That's why Abraham says, so it doesn't matter what you choose, but whatever you choose, line up with it. Let it be the right thing. Because it doesn't matter what we do. It only matters how we feel. So whatever alternative makes it easiest to feel best, that's the one to go with. That's inner guidance saying this way to dreams come true. So it's not a decision when we listen within for the best answer. I don't ever have to debate anything when I pay attention to what feels better. And I used that. I used that not just to buy a big truck, but I used it when I needed to make a decision about euthanizing my cat. I used it when I, released 2 big relationships. And those are things that would be easy for me. All of those things, buying the truck, what to do with the cat, those 2 big relationships. Is it 2 now, or is it up to 3? I don't know. It keeps happening. You know why? Oh my gosh, that's another manifesting story. I'm telling that one actually at Good Vibe University. It's one of our success story spotlights this month. If you remember, tune in for that one. I'm talking all about my love life. Anyway, I don't have to question the decisions when I know that they're led by my inner being. I can just let the peace reign about all of it, knowing I did what felt best at the time, and I'm going to do that again and again and again, whatever's presented to me. That's all I got to listen for is what feels best. Follow that, let it continue to be the right decision, and I'm home free. I don't know if I am talking to any other Libras out there who sometimes have trouble making decisions. But, if you've been weighing the pros and cons, you know what's another cool thing to do? I was going to wrap that up right there. I probably should have, but I kind of like making a cake list. I've talked about this one before, but this is maybe a good reminder of it. That's where you write down the pros of all the alternatives you're considering. Not the cons, just the pros, just the positive aspects of each different alternative you're looking at. Put all of that on one list and turn that over to universe to manifest for you. Because we don't have to compromise or settle. We don't have to. It will be as good as we're willing to allow it. And I call that a cake list, how to have your cake and eat it too. We're just going to choose all the best things. And even when it seems like they don't go together, if we're willing to know that they can, and then hand the manifestation of it off to your higher power, done deal. That stuff is magic. I got a blog post on that if you want to read more about it. Okay, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to wrap this one up now. See you on the next episode.